Rashtrapati Srimati Draupadi Murmu delivered her message to the nation on the eve of Independence Day yesterday. I have the honor to share it with you. मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, नमस्कार. My heartiest greetings to Indians living in the country and abroad on the eve of the 75th anniversary of the independence of India. I am delighted to address you on this momentous occasion. India is completing 75 years as an independent nation. 14th August is observed as Partition Horrors Day, Remembrance Day, so as to promote social harmony, unity, and empowerment of people. Tomorrow, that is today, marks the day when we had freed ourselves from the shackles of colonial masters and decided to reshape our destiny. All of us celebrate the anniversary of that day. We bow to those men and women who made enormous sacrifices to make it possible for us to live in a free India. It is a cause of celebration not only for all of us, but also for every advocate of democracy around the world. When India won independence, there were many international leaders and experts who were skeptical about the success of the democratic form of government in India. They had their reasons to be doubtful. For in those days, democracy was limited to economically advanced nations. India, after so many years of exploitation at the hands of foreign rulers, was marked by poverty and illiteracy. But we Indians proved these skeptics wrong. Democracy not only grew in this soil, it enriched it too. In most other well-established democracies, women had to wage long-drawn struggles to get the right to vote. But India adopted universal adult franchise right since the beginning of the Republic. Thus, the rulers and the makers of modern India enabled each and every citizen, adult citizen, to participate in the collective process of nation building. Thus, India can be credited to have helped the world discover the true potential of democracy. I believe this was not a coincidence. At the beginning of civilization, saints and seers in this land had developed a vision of humanity that was defined by equality for all, indeed oneness of all. The great freedom struggle and its leaders like Mahatma Gandhi rediscovered our ancient values for modern times. Thus, it is no wonder our democracy has Indian characteristics. Gandhiji advocated decentralization and power to the people. For 75 weeks now, the nation has been commemorating the noble ideals that won its independence. In March 2021, we began the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav with the reenactment of the Dandi March. This way, our celebrations began with a tribute to the watershed event which had put our struggle on the world map. The festival is dedicated to the people of India based on the success achieved by the people, the resolve to build Atmanirbhar Bharat is also a part of this Mahotsav. Citizens from all age groups have keenly participated in a series of events held across the country. The grand festival is going ahead with the Har Ghar Tiranga Abhiyan. The Indian tricolors are fluttering in every nook and corner of the country. Great martyrs would have been pleased to see the spirit of independence movement coming alive again on such a massive scale. Our glorious freedom struggle was waged bravely across the vast territory of our country. Many great freedom fighters did their duty and passed on the torch of awakening, leaving little trace of their deeds. Forgotten for long were the many heroes and their struggles, especially among the peasant and tribal populations. The government's decision last year to observe 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas is welcome because our tribal heroes are not merely local or regional icons, but they do inspire the entire nation. Dear citizens, for a nation, particularly an ancient one such as India, the passage of 75 years is merely a blink of an eye. But for us as individuals, it is a lifetime. Senior citizens among us have witnessed a dramatic change in their lifetime. They have seen how after independence, all the generations have toiled hard, how we have met challenges, and how we have faced and seen the change in our destiny. The lessons learned in the process will prove useful as we move towards the next milestone in the journey of the nation, the Amrit Kal, the 25 years to the celebration of the centenary of our independence. By the year 2047, we will have finally realized the dreams of our freedom fighters. We would have given concrete shape to a vision of those who, led by Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar, had drafted the Constitution. We are already on course to build an Atmanirbhar Bharat, an India that would have realized its true potential. The world has seen a new India rising in recent years, more so after the outbreak of COVID-19. Our response to the pandemic has been appreciated everywhere. We launched the biggest vaccination drive in human history with vaccines manufactured in the country itself. Last month, we crossed the 200 crore mark in cumulative vaccine coverage. In combating the pandemic, our achievements have been better than in many developed countries. For this feat, we are grateful to our scientists, doctors, nurses, paramedics, and the staff associated with the vaccination. The pandemic had uprooted the lives and also economies of the entire world. When the world has been battling the economic consequences of the great crisis, India got its act together and is now moving forward. India is among the fastest growing major economies in the world. India's startup ecosystem also ranks high in the world. The success of startups in our country, especially the growing number of unicorns, is a shining example of our industrial progress. The government and policymakers deserve credit for making and putting the global trend and helping the economy flourish. During the last few years, unprecedented progress has also been made in the development of physical and digital infrastructure. Through the Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti Abhiyan, all modes of connectivity based on water, land, and air are being integrated in the entire economy to enable seamless transportation and connectivity across the country. For the vibrancy of growth visible in our country, the credit must also be given to the workers and farmers whose hard work has made it possible, and entrepreneurs whose business acumen has created wealth. What is all the more heartening is that the growth is becoming more inclusive and regional disparities are also reducing. But this is only the beginning. A series of economic reforms and policy initiatives have been preparing the ground for the long term. Digital India, for instance, is creating the bedrock for a knowledge economy. The national education policy is aimed at preparing the future generation for the next stage of industrial revolution with its reconnect with our heritage. Economic success is leading to an ease of living too. Economic relations and reforms are rightly accompanied by innovative welfare initiatives. At home, of a home of one's own is no longer a dream for the poor, but a reality for more and more people, thanks to the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Similarly, under the Jal Jeevan Mission, tap water connection is being provided to every household since the launch of the Har Ghar Jal scheme. The aim of these and many other similar efforts is to provide basic amenities to all, particularly the poor. The key word for India today is compassion for the downtrodden, for the needy and those on the margins. Some of our national values have been incorporated in our constitution in the fundamental duties of its citizens. I appeal to every citizen to know about the fundamental duties and follow them in letter and spirit for our nation as our nation reaches new heights. Dear citizens, at the core of the transformation we have been witnessing in healthcare, education, economy, as well as a number of related areas in the stress on good governance. When work is done in the spirit of nation first, it is bound to reflect in every decision and every sector. This is also reflected in India's standing in the world. India's newfound confidence stems from the spirit of its youth, its farmers, and above all, its women. Gender inequalities are reducing, and women are moving ahead, breaking many glass ceilings. The increasing participation in social and political processes will prove decisive. At the grassroots level, we today have more than 14 lakh elected women representatives in the Panchayati Raj institutions. Our daughters are the biggest hope for the nation. Some of them have recently brought laurels for the country at the recent Commonwealth Games. Of course, India's sportsmen have been making the country proud by their achievements and performance in international competitions. A large number of our winners come from underprivileged segments of society. From becoming fighter pilots to space scientists, our daughters are scaling greater heights. Dear citizens, in celebrating Independence Day, we are celebrating our Bhartiyata. Our country is full of diversity, but at the same time, we also have something in common. It is this common thread that binds us together and inspires us to walk together with the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. India is indeed a very beautiful country, also because of its mountains, rivers, lakes, and forests, and the animals and birds that live in such landscapes. With the environment, we are facing new challenges. We must remain determined to preserve all that makes India beautiful. Conserving water so that soil and biodiversity is our duty towards our children. Caring for Mother Nature has been part and parcel of the Indian tradition. With our traditional lifestyle, we Indians can show the way to the rest of the world, as we've seen yoga and Ayurveda, India's invaluable gifts to the world. Their popularity is on the rise all over the globe. Dear fellow citizens, our beloved country has given us everything we have in our lives. We should pledge to give everything we can for the sake of security, safety, progress, and prosperity of our country. Our existence will become meaningful only in bringing and making a glorious India. The great nationalist poet Kuvempu, who enriched Indian literature through Kannada language, had written, and the translation says, "I will pass, so will you, but in our bones will arise the great tale of a new India." This is a clarion call of the nationalist poet to making total sacrifice for the motherland and upliftment of the fellow citizens. To those to follow those ideals, is my special appeal to the youth of the country who are going to be building the India of 2047. Before I conclude, I would wish to extend Independence Day greetings to our armed forces, to the members of the Indian missions abroad, and to the members of the Indian diaspora who continue to make their motherland proud. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you and Jai Hind.